Hey there. My name is Adam and I'm here for some bird photography. Let me guess. Bird photography also interests you. Great then. I can help you learn bird photography and we can get along in my next trip. So, are you ready for the journey? All right then, let's begin. First, you need to learn some basics of photography. But before we start learning, we need a camera, essentially an interchangeable lens camera, commonly known as DSLR camera or a mirrorless camera. Any other camera would do the job, but if you need to master the art of bird photography, an interchangeable lens camera is required. Second, you're gonna need a telephoto lens with a camera. What is a telephoto lens, you ask? Let me explain in brief. Pay attention here. This is a camera body that has all the electronics to digitally capture a photo. This is a lens that is attached to the camera. They fit right above the sensor in the pre-cut slot. Lenses come in various focal lengths like 10 millimeters, 35 millimeters, 50, 200, or even 600 millimeters, etc. Here are three such lenses, respectively from the left, 35 millimeters, 70 millimeters, and 200 millimeters. And as shown in the picture, they generally vary in size too as the focal length grows. Okay, so why do we have so many focal lengths? And what focal length does to your photo? Most importantly, why do you need a telephoto lens for bird photography? To understand all this, walk with me. Look at this scene here. Let me take a picture with a 10 millimeter lens. Wow, we have a nice wide view of the scene, covering almost every element of this scene in my frame. But the person standing by the shore downhill is pretty small in my photo. And what if I want to have a frame with a better and bigger view of that person? I have one option though, to go down there and take the photo. I have another solution. I can use a higher focal length lens, say 200 millimeters, and then click a photo. What do I get now? Great. The photo has now a much narrower field of view compared to the previous one, and in this photo, the details of the person and his surroundings are much more pronounced. Basically, we zoomed in on our subject, and we could achieve the frame for which otherwise we had to move closer to the person. And yes, you are correct. That is how zoom lenses on other cameras work. Instead of swapping lenses of higher focal lengths, zoom lenses have built-in mechanisms for changing their focal length and thereby achieving the zoom effect. Now, what happens if we use a 400 millimeter lens on our camera body? I think you have already guessed the answer. We get more zoom effect, resulting in an even closer photo of the person. You should note that zoom is not the only parameter that focal length has its effect on. There are other parameters too, but at this stage, I would stick to the concept of zoom effect only. Now that we have understood the effect of the focal length on our photo, we should head back to the jungle. Having learnt the effect of focal length, we now know the higher the focal length, the more zoom effect you see in your photos. In bird photography, we generally use lenses with a minimum focal length of 250 millimeters, and we call them telephoto lenses. There are other lenses too with focal lengths of up to 1200 millimeters, and attachment devices are also available, known as extenders, to increase the focal length of any lens by a certain factor. Now, it should make sense to you that, in bird photography, we need higher focal lengths to maintain a distance from our subject. Otherwise, we would scare them away. Telephoto lenses help us to get high-quality images of birds from a safe distance without disturbing or scaring them away. That's all for this lesson. Get a telephoto lens if you do not have one, grab your camera, find a bird subject, and start clicking. And yes, I forgot to mention, if you are a total beginner in photography, then please have a photography course first on how to use a DSLR or a mirrorless camera. For now, you can use auto mode in your camera to click pictures. See you, buddy. Happy birding.